The Formula One season is over. Finally. NASCAR signs a new TV deal. Somebody's getting paid.
Um,
Money! Which a lot to break down there. We'll get in touch. We'll break that down here in a bit. And kind of closing out the year. This is the season finale of FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Fluck.
I am Eric Richardson.
And okay, Formula One's over. Max wins. He broke almost every record possible.
What was it? 19 out of 22.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Checo won
Sergio
too.
had two and Carlos had one.
Reminds you that you look at the thing and it says Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull, and then there's one Ferrari. Remember that scene from the original Mighty Ducks movie when
Yeah.
Gordon Bombay is back at his old team and he was the one who blew the penalty shot and they lost the state final. And you see champion, second place champion. He's like, wish they would take that one down, don't you? That's kind of how that feels looking at that this year. But um,
So what is that in your hand?
what is in my hand?
Yep.
It is a beverage.
It's a different color can than what you're
What I
we're used
usually
to.
what I usually do, yes. It's the king of beers.
I got a different one.
Yeah, good old the king of beers, royalty right here. Yeah, usually I have the drinking a lot of Michelob Ultra lately with the tall like Red Bull cans, and yeah, now I'm holding a regular can here, so that's changing it up for the last episode of 2023.
That drink's not too bad going out with dough ball, cookie dough whiskey.
Drinking airline bottles,
It was a sample. I hadn't had cookie dough whiskey before. I'm like, no, maybe.
cookie dough whiskey.
I saw a
That's
big bottle from what I forget what it is.
cookie dough whiskey. That's different. I can't say I've ever had that. Closest thing I've had is the whiskey infused in a red wine barrel. I'm like, this whiskey tastes like red wine. And I look at the bottle. Oh, because yeah,
No, that's why.
that's why.
I actually tried one the other day.
Not a big fan of red wine. Not a fan of wine
No,
in general. No, we got all
apple
these
ones.
we got all these bottles of wine in the house, and it's like we just offered some. Would you like some? No, I don't drink children's drinks.
Grape juice.
Grape juice. I don't drink grape juice. I drink fermented wheat and barley hops. Or what's the Tim Taylor?
You know what goes better with racing?
Beer.
Beer and liquor.
Yeah, you don't see people drinking wine at a NASCAR race. You probably do at a Formula One race, but
Yeah, watching NASCAR go around, you're not seeing
yeah, you're
the
drinking
Pinot
this stuff right
Grigio
here.
combo.
Drinking
Uh,
the Kevin Harvick Budweiser Bush.
yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. drove the
Oh
Bud
yeah,
car.
yeah. Dale with the
I think Casey Kane was in a Bud car for a little bit.
I feel like Eric Almirola had a Bud car for a while.
Had Keselowski in the Miller
Miller
High
Lite,
Life.
yeah, Miller Lite, Miller High Life, MGD. Rusty Wallace for a long time.
Classic Rusty.
Rusty kind of he had the MGD car. Remember the black and yellow
Oh
MGD car
yeah,
that he drove for a long time.
that's
Then he went to
classic.
the white and blue Miller Lite car, but you'd buy the car in the the diecast of Rusty in the store in the 90s, and it just says like Rusty on the hood.
I'll have to dig one out here for maybe next year's show.
It's
I
just
got a few of them.
some of those cars are hilarious where they like they're the kids like the racing champions cars from the 90s and they can't put the alcohol, they can't put the tobacco on there, and there's like chewing tobacco cars. Kodiak, I think. Like Steve Grissom in the Kodiak car drove, I think it was the 41. Remember that one? The white car with
Yep.
like the green Kodiak snuff logos.
Oh, the good old days.
Remember the other one? The other one I had, but I don't know. I lost it years ago. It was the Robbie Gordon Coors Light, or it was like Coors Banquet. It was like a blue and yellow,
Yep.
but it said like Team Sabco, which was like the team he drove for instead of can't sell the Coors Banquet beer.
There has been lots of alcohol branded cars over the years.
I think I told you this before. My kids, they like collecting diecast now, which is cool. And they're saying, oh, we every time we go to a race, they get a new diecast. It's kind of like the thing we've been doing. And one of my kids asked for the Owl car, like I have. Oh, I look at the desk and realize
Oh yeah, the number 9.
the number 9. Oh, there we go. Oh, too bright.
It's
There you go.
orange and white.
The Hooters, the Dick Vitale Hooter. No. I remember last year during the Las Vegas race when Bubba Wallace took out Kyle Larson. One of my kids got so mad that he ruined the McDonald's car. I'm like, oh man, it's just like, you know what? That's kind of the only difference is when I was a kid, the McDonald's car was the 94 driven by Bill Elliott.
Yes. I think I
Eh,
have Bill Elliott's autograph somewhere.
don't,
We
yeah.
got that at a Ford fan day at Indianapolis one year.
Yeah, the only one I have is Ricky Rudd. I don't have a lot of NASCAR autographs for some reason.
Actually, just found some more. Jeremy Mayfield. I have Hut Strickland. I
Hut
met Kyle
Strickland.
Petty one time.
Hut Strickland was terrible, but man, those Circuit City cars, especially the red one, man, that Circuit City car he drove was sweet.
I think the most current driver's autograph I have, actually, I have a couple. John Hunter Nemechek and Chase Elliott.
My kids have John Hunter Nemechek. I got the book full of hero cards, all the Xfinity drivers this year. John Hunter was the first one at the table, so we got him. Pretty much almost every regular Xfinity driver was there at the table. So my kids have more NASCAR autographs than I do, and all it took them was 5 minutes walking down a line.
Yep.
So that was cool stuff. I'm looking over my display case behind me. Got the Ricky Rudd Tide car. Got a Tony Stewart Home Depot. I think that's still when it was a Pontiac.
No, I got a great spot just right here that I could put a case and all the diecasts that I have.
Well, I mean, now I have a separate webcam. See
We would overlap quite a few cars, actually.
Yeah, there's the display case over there. And
Just about fill one with all my Jeff Gordon.
yeah, no kidding. That's fan rotating. Yeah, I've got the whole top row is Jeff Gordon, and then I have another Jeff Gordon sitting outside of the case. Got the Mark Martin Viagra car.
I think two of the best ones I have are the number 90 Heilig Myers, Dick Trickle.
Dick Trickle, the late Dick Trickle.
And I think I have it's the 00 Aquafresh.
Buckshot Jones.
I believe so.
Nice. Yeah.
I don't know why I got the Aquafresh, but
And the fact that I just pulled that name out just like that's yes.
Classic race car driver name.
I do have Buckshot Jones. That is like the ultimate race car driver name. I mean, you look at some of these drivers from like the 1960s, they all had names like that. We got away from it. Now it's like Chase Elliott, Ryan
I think
Blaney.
the best driver name that's out there right now, I think, has to be Stingray Rob.
Yeah, too bad he wasn't really very good this year. Are they bringing him back? I don't know if they've.
I actually just saw the projected list and I don't recall.
They've really because Malukas, obviously went to Arrow McLaren, but I don't think we've heard anything from Dale Coyne. Because there's rumors for a while that Grosjean was going back there, but he went to
Juncos.
Hollinger. Yeah. I don't think Dale Coyne has announced his drivers yet.
Just seeing 6 hours ago, official Alfa Romeo is retiring from Formula One.
So what's going to happen to the team? I mean, I knew they were leaving in 26 because they were going to become like Team Audi.
Oh, right. It's gonna be Audie's team.
Yeah, in 20, but no, it's not till 20.
2026.
Yeah, well, what's gonna be? Oh, the team is returning to Sauber next season.
And continue Sauber.
First time since 2018. Little to show for it. Yeah, they were pretty bad. Anyway, also have the Jeff Green Cartoon Network, Dexter's Laboratory on the side.
And that was a fun one. Here's the article I found.
The other like classic 90s car that doesn't get as much love as it should is the Terry Labonte like Kellogg's cornflakes car. That was got that in the display case.
Yeah, Dale Coyne hasn't said anything. Rob could return, and they're looking at
Almost seems like
Frost from Indy Next.
that would make sense. It's kind of been their calling card as they grab the Indy Next person.
Actually, just saw earlier today, HMD signed a new Indy Next driver,
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, they've been really.
Jonathan Brown.
Yeah, they've been really good in Next. Yeah, and Devlin DeFrancesco. I don't think he's.
Dale Coyne may look at him too.
Yeah, I mean he brings a sponsor with him, which I still don't know what sponsor that is. EvTech.
Speaking of Indy drivers, Alex Palou is in court right now,
Oh, with McLaren.
and the 23 million in estimated losses.
How do they figure that?
Time spent in simulator, on track testing, other development.
Okay. I guess that makes
So
sense.
that is being litigated currently.
And he had to find a new management team.
Yeah, not a great decision there.
No, he's kind of come off as a bit of a diva the last two seasons.
I feel like he thought he was gonna maybe have a little bit easier shot into a Formula One seat, and that proved otherwise.
Well, I mean, for a while, I mean, it was a tale of two seasons for McLaren.
It
They were so
really
bad.
was.
They were so bad on the front end of the season.
They may have been the worst team in the field through about the first, what, 3 or 4 races.
There was one race I remember. I want to say they finished like 16th and 18th or something like that, and they just like had the camera sitting on Zach Brown in the pit wall, just looking just completely irritated. So on but yeah, and it looked like they were going to give up on Piastri, just like AlphaTauri gave up on Nick DeVries. Oh, I mean the Racing Bulls.
Oh man.
So much better. That seemed like that was just we need to call him something.
Yeah, he was on the hot seat there for a little bit, and
It just clicked.
something started to click, and then they were reeling off double podiums and
Easier.
a bunch of straight podiums.
Got the sneeze button in place before I did that. But yeah, they were great in the second half.
And they were in contention for team stuff there at the end.
Yeah, they were charging up the field. Just imagine a full season. I mean, they wouldn't have caught Red Bull, but
2 drivers couldn't have caught Red Bull.
even
Max.
they like doubled. Oh, what was it? Something like if Max didn't come back from summer break and they reallocated all the points, Max still would have won the world championship by like a couple points or something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. How about a big decisive thing at the Abu Dhabi race that actually decided second place in the constructors
The
with Lando Norris and Checo.
oh yeah, the 5 second penalty. Both drivers. He drove into me. He drove into me.
Yeah, I've seen it. It almost racing incident. They're
I,
both fighting. It's racing.
I mean, Checo kind of got that reputation, fortunately, and it's gonna
Yeah.
go against him when in doubt. Seems like, and it did. He was yeah, and then he got in trouble. See, after the fact, the
Yeah, for complaining and violating sporting code.
yeah, running his mouth about the stewards over the radio.
But that ended up dropping him from what, second to fourth?
Or yeah,
Then that changed the points. And I see a lot of questions how Norris was able to get away with cutting the track and gaining position out of that.
yeah, they were wondering about that. It's like, oh, is he gonna have to give that up? Whatever, man. And Lewis Hamilton was like,
He's bitter.
yeah, he's happy to put this car away forever. And he said he's really terrified about next year because I don't think Red Bull made a major change to the car since July.
No.
And they won this weekend by what, 17 seconds, or Max was 17
Yeah,
seconds up.
17, 18. And they would have won two again if not for a penalty.
Unreal. I mean,
Crazy season. I don't
is this the best single season for a Formula One driver ever?
I think this almost has to be considered one of the best single seasons team or individual in any sport.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, people are getting upset. It's like, oh, Max won again. Max won again. We've made the same comment. Max won again, but it's just like when you think about it, it's like just the odds. Like nothing bad happened to him. Like he got his 5 second penalty in Vegas, still won. Got some damage from George Russell in Vegas, still won. Wasn't
The
involved
fact
in.
that they were consistent and he could just run that pace and the
He
number of
didn't.
fastest laps that he had.
He didn't get caught up in any lights out incidents. Like he wasn't on the pole every single time either. And
One of his wins, he came from 14th.
it's that
I was looking at
cars.
a comparison between him and Vettel, and Vettel's worst starting position to win a race was third.
Yeah.
And then you
Uh,
have Max at 14th.
yeah. Well, I mean, Checo started last one race and ended up on the podium this year, if I remember correctly. And it's just that
Those Red
car
Bulls
was
did something. There's other things that we can maybe criticize Formula
Adrian
One and FIA
Newey.
for, but
Adrian Newey, man.
Red
Guy knows
Bull
how to design
did
a
some crazy
car.
things. Yes, they do.
He's unreal. Just unreal. I mean, he's been around for a long time too. I wonder how long. And the thing is, like, you have to wonder, like, when you have a person like that, obviously, like, he's a major contributor to the design of that car. And he's not going to be around forever. He's got to be in his probably mid 70s by now. Let's see.
And what's more fun with Formula One? Watching
Oh,
Max just
he's only 64. Good God, he was like designing cars in like, what was he designing cars when he was 19?
probably. Is it more fun seeing Max do what he does or getting competitive races like what Vegas was?
I mean, I think this year is like, that's unreal. But like if this happens over and over. I didn't know that. Adrian Newey worked in IndyCar for a while. Or well, it was, Cart USAC in the 80s. He worked on Bobby Rahall's 1986 Indy 500 winner. Yeah, he started working in Formula One in 1988.
That 35 years in F1.
He wasn't even 30 yet when he got hired.
That's wild.
Yeah, he was a designer and race engineer in 1984, about 26 years, 25, 26 years old. Unreal. He's only 64. Like, he could be around for a long time.
Do we see Verstappen being able to do this for another 5 years
He wants
and
to. I think he gets as much as he wants to.
getting 8 titles?
He wants to, yeah.
Or does at some point does he just get bored?
That's what I'm saying. If he wants to, like, does he go do something else? I still don't think we'll ever see Max actually drive in NASCAR, but man, how wild would that be? Just one day he decides he's done with Formula One, he's bored, and he's like, I'm coming to NASCAR.
It'd
You
be
know,
fun
somebody
just watch them come race trucks at Talladega.
Somebody would fire somebody and like, here you go. I don't care that you've never driven this car. Come on over. They would find a spot for him in a heartbeat if he said, I want to go drive NASCAR tomorrow.
Get him into one of the tracks with Trackhouse in their project car.
Let him in the 91. I still think it's hilarious that Jensen Button said that, like, the Coda race was like the hardest he's ever had to work in. The most fun he's had too. It's like, this man won a Formula One world title in as the David and Goliath. He was definitely the David with Braun GP. I still need to finish watching that. I started watching it. It's on Hulu in the US. Keanu Reeves produced the documentary, so I read the book. I read Ross Braun's book, which is fascinating, and then I'll have to watch the doc. So we're like what, 100 days, 90 days away from the first Formula One race of the year or something like that.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time right now.
We got Daytona coming up here soon. We got the
end of really the first weekend of February.
Yeah,
Daytona
like
24.
You got the
speed weeks.
At the Daytona 24, the Rolex 24 at the end of January, right after the Super Bowl. You've got Daytona 500, and we're back doing this all over.
Lots of stuff coming up.
But NASCAR on TV, they got themselves a nice little paycheck
to the tune of 1.1 billion a year. I think it was up from what, 820 million?
Yeah, which is wild because Mike Joy last year wrote on social media because people criticize the Fox broadcasts for just too many commercials. And Mike Joy kind of, they don't disclose financials at the Fox, at the station level, at the Fox level. But he basically said, like, the reason there's so many commercials is we're paying so stinking much for this, for the licensing rights. And we got to get the crews and all the equipment, and we got to do the broadcast. And it's like, we got to make back that money. And it sounds like, I don't understand. In the era where cable it's dying, cable TV is dying. The regional sports market, which I know is not related to NASCAR generally, for the most part, any auto racing, but the regional sports market model is on life support. You've got Bally Sports. It's about to file for Chapter 7. The Bally Sports channel here in Arizona, gone. All the teams bailed on them after they stopped making payments. And it's like, cable TV's going away. The streaming channel, everyone's gone to streaming and going to Hulu, and then now Hulu's like getting up there. It's the same price that cable was, or it's approaching that. And it's
when we got into Hulu, it was like, hey, this is a great deal. It's cheap and we get all the channels we want. Now it's This price goes up every month.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we got to raise our price again. I'm like, you just did 2 months. You know,
What I
Hulu,
hear, Disney just finished buying out Hulu or is getting ready to.
they already did.
I think it was a part of it. Now it's all of it.
Yeah, it was a split between I think Disney and Fox maybe, or but they've had control for a long time. But you know, we got the bundle with Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. Still cheaper than cable, but still it's probably double what it was when we signed up for it 5, 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, easy. Because I think we've had it for 5 years now.
But you have to think that like you look at Comcast who owns NBC, you know, ABC, Hulu, you know, they're ESPN, they're all in the same family. They have to be terrified because I don't know what the average age of a cable TV subscriber is, but it's got to be up there. It's almost like the baby boomers are like the last of the cable subscribers. Honestly, I don't know anyone remotely close to my age or younger that has a cable TV subscription. You know, they'll have internet through the cable company because that's usually the best option where you live. But I don't know anyone who has cable.
No, I don't. Everybody's going to YouTube TV, Hulu.
Or just the antenna. And you know, you look at
Or they're just not watching TV. They're just watching Netflix.
yeah, they're doing Netflix or you know, they'll do the Hulu with ads for $15 a month, whatever it costs nowadays. And
It's cheaper to go out to eat and watch your game
yeah,
and
you go out to the bar, have a couple drinks and some food.
do
But
that a couple times a month cheaper than what you pay for cable.
like when as part of Bally Sports collapsing in Arizona, you know, they had the Coyotes, they had the Suns, they had the Diamondbacks. What started this domino effect is they stopped making payments to the Diamondbacks because essentially they weren't really breaking even, which is hilarious because the Diamondbacks went to the World Series this year. It was the best team they've had in
Long time now.
several
What,
years. Yeah. Yeah, it's hilarious that like,
7?
you know, the interest and the demand for the Diamondbacks all of a sudden, you know, you start winning, who cares? But the Diamondbacks broke their agreement. They went to MLB.TV. They got a couple cable deals that if you have the local cable company out here, you can watch the game on there. DirecTV, same thing. But then at the end of the seasons, the Suns and the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA, owned by the same group, broke their agreement and announced that they were going to a local over-the-air station that's owned by the local CBS affiliate here. And, you know, I don't know if you remember this, but in the 80s and 90s, that's how sports was. You know, you watched it growing up in the 90s. Remember you grow up watching the Indiana Pacers on Channel 4?
Yep.
We'd watch Channel 4. It was like, I don't remember what was on Channel 4 other than the Pacers. And, you know, there was some syndicated reruns of shows. I think it became like a WB/CW channel at one point. Actually, I think it's done.
I remember where we were. Colts were always blacked out
Yep.
because of local broadcasting rights.
Yep. The 500 was
And
always black.
we could watch the Pacers. 500 we had to watch on tape delay unless
Yep.
if I was down in Evansville or something Memorial Weekend I could watch. And
Yeah.
then we had the Cubs or White Sox on WGN.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. It was on local channels. Then everybody ran to the regional sports model, collected a bunch of money, and you know, they were charging like they were talking about on the carry, you know, when the channel sells to a cable company, you put the channel on the cable company. The cable company pays the channel X amount of dollars to have that, you know, that channel. And there was what the cable company was passing along, there was rumors that you're paying somewhere in the range of $16 to $18 a month of your cable bill was to pay for your regional sports channel. And just to give you an idea, like ESPN was like $6 or $8, which was also considered outrageous for that. You look at some of these other channels, nowhere near that. But your $18 of your cable bill every month paid for your regional sports channel. And of course, the model collapsed. When Fox Sports, they had to sell off as part of the Disney deal, Bally, Diamond Sports Group Sinclair formed this, Diamond Sports Group out of it. And then they started negotiating. The cable companies signed on, but none of the streaming platforms because they wanted to charge outrageous prices to Hulu, to YouTube TV. And they felt that if they could just hold off long enough, they'd introduce an app or a streaming channel. They call it Bally Plus, but they were already in bankruptcy court by the time they got the dumb app launched. And then they were charging like $180 a year, which I guess if you got hockey, baseball, and basketball, it's not a terrible deal, but still, it's extremely expensive. But anyway, the Suns break the deal. Bally sues them. Eventually, they get to the end. They break the contract. Deal goes away. The Suns are on the local CBS affiliate here in Phoenix, or a channel owned by the CBS. So that leaves just the Coyotes on Bally Sports, and the Coyotes have been pretty bad for a long time. They have stadium issues. They had ownership problems. They finally have stable ownership for the first time ever in their 25 plus 26 years in the Valley. And Coyotes announced a deal with the local ABC affiliate. And the Coyotes are now on the CW channel. So everybody in the Valley, we don't know what the Diamondbacks are going to do next year. They haven't announced their plans yet. But you can watch the Suns on an antenna. You can watch the Coyotes if you have an antenna. And the Suns had a brilliant promotion that if you signed up, you could go fill out a web form, put it in your address. They would mail you an antenna for your TV, an indoor antenna that you just kind of, you just use like push pins to stick it to the wall, plug it into the outlet on the back of your TV. Thanks, Phoenix Suns. Now anyone who signs up can watch the Suns for free. And now the Coyotes too. And it's just like, they realized like they got ahead of this and realized like, look, yeah, that cable, that regional sports channel money is gone. That's not coming back. After this whole lecture here in history, we get to NASCAR, and NASCAR is now getting $1.1 billion a year. They're still going to be on Fox for 14 races. They're going to be on NBC for 14 races, which is less than what they had before. 5 races are going to Amazon Prime Video. 5 races will be on TNT.
I need to go and look and see, is the Amazon ones are going to be streamed exclusively?
Correct.
If you have Prime.
And
so I want to see what 5 races are included there.
I'll tell you right now.
I haven't paired that yet. Because Fox has the first 14 plus the Busch Clash.
Yep. And then the next 5 after that. So if we look at the 2024 season.
And then NBC, I think I heard is 4 or 5 will be on NBC and the others will be on USA Network.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, well, that's next year. So, okay. So I guess we don't have a schedule. But if you look at 14 races.
They'll probably be fairly similar, though.
It's
because they generally follow a pretty basic schedule.
You basically have the all-star race will be race 14 next year. So that means they wouldn't have we could have the Coca-Cola 600 on Amazon Prime Video if the schedule doesn't shift. So
That'd
if this
awful.
So if this is, I mean, the thing though is there's 200, they claim they have 200 million Amazon Prime members. If you have Amazon Prime membership, you get Amazon Prime. You can watch on your phone. Every new TV comes with Amazon Prime Video on the TV. Like, okay, I'm sorry, older generation. That might be a little tough for you, which sucks, but, it's a sign of it's the evolving times here. But if you go off of next year's schedule, your 5 races would be the Coca-Cola 600, which something tells me that I don't think Fox would give up the Coca-Cola.
I bet Fox ends up with that as their sign off.
Yeah, that would be. So if let's just say they get to the Coca-Cola 600, your next 5 races are your Worldwide Technology Raceway, St. Louis. You got Sonoma, Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nashville.
Not
I could see those 5 being the Amazon Prime race.
not a terrible set of races. Go to Amazon.
No, I mean Sonoma, that okay. So then the next 5 races would be on TNT. Maybe maybe they'll go find Bill, or wait, Bill Weber worked for NBC. I heard he was not the nicest of people. And that's why he's not a broadcaster anymore, because everyone hated working with him, allegedly. So your next 5 on TNT would be the Chicago Street Race, Pocono, Indianapolis, Richmond, and Michigan. Somebody said that they haven't, obviously they've not announced the 2025 schedule, but some reporter said there's a good chance that the Chicago Street Race will not be on TV next year, implying that it would be on Amazon Prime. So the other thing too, this year, the schedule's all wonky because it's in the middle of the Olympics.
Yep.
So
they're to take their 2-week break.
Yeah, so they're taking a 2-week break after Indianapolis before they go to and then they come back to Richmond. Wait a second, are they going to Michigan twice? No, I was looking at
I was gonna say it should only be once.
Yeah, I was looking at the wrong column. Yeah,
Michigan lost their second race. They used to come twice.
They used to have 2 at Pocono back in the day, if I remember right.
All I know is I'm looking forward to going to Indianapolis and going through the return.
Somebody posted this picture that said, "Going back on the oval is a terrible idea. Nobody showed up to the last time they were on the oval," and they had a picture of the cars on the oval, but it was in 2020. They had to run it because of COVID. No fans in the stands.
Yeah. What did we see? IndyCar wants to make a splash on something big next year.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
They're doing Milwaukee. They lost the road course doubleheader weekend.
They lost Texas.
I'm gonna laugh, but I'm gonna just play the gambling game here, maybe because Formula One was just in Vegas. I think they try to follow something at Formula One, either Miami or Coda or something.
I'm gonna bet money that, like, Vegas and Miami, there's probably some kind of agreement that nobody else.
What about Coda weekend?
I don't think they'd want to overlap, and I don't think Indy would want to overlap either.
That'd be splashy.
I just if
Follow
it ever
along, get the hype of it. People are there.
If it ever came to the point that, like, the organizations like aligned better, maybe, but I can't see them cooperating for something like that.
It probably won't happen, but well, just toss that out on record. Be fun to see, but it won't happen.
Indy, ever since Pocono went off the schedule, they have no Northeast presence at all. And more or less, they've said that you're not going to see IndyCar on a NASCAR-owned track. So, there's no... I mean, the super speedways are definitely not happening unless they want someone to die.
Those just wouldn't be safe.
Yeah, so, obviously Talladega, Daytona, that's obviously not going to happen.
It'll be fun to see what lines up there.
I mean, they haven't... When was the last time Indy went to Watkins Glen?
It's been a while.
I don't know if I would consider that splashy, though.
If that's splashy, then
2017, it looks like. It was that recent? Why do I not remember that?
It was only 6 years. I should know that.
Yeah, Alexander Rossi, Scott Dixon. Then there's no race there between 2011 and 2015. Yeah, they were there from 2005 to 2010 and then 2016, 2017. Oh. Apparently the reason it got cut from the schedule after 2017 is they had like 5,000 people show up to the race.
So much of it, IndyCar just needs to do better at marketing.
They do a terrible job at promotion. I mean, they haven't been to Phoenix since what, 2017 or something like that.
The new layout
Honestly,
of that track would be so entertaining.
honestly, I had no idea there was even a race there. Like the promotion was that poor. I mean, I wasn't following IndyCar like super close at that point in my life, but I didn't know until after the race. Like one of my coworkers who has some family ties to the series went to the race and he said it was incredibly boring until like it was follow the leader until the last 10 laps, and the last 10 laps were exciting after that.
And that was a problem 2 years ago. Iowa, Texas, it was all single file racing.
Follow the leader, and then Jimmy Johnson came in there and like everyone's like, oh, what are you doing, Jimmy? Oh wait, that worked.
Wow, he ran the high groove to great success.
That worked.
Iowa was entertaining this year. Lots of passing. Texas was a very exciting race.
Yeah, you know,
It's
they had the high
unfortunate
line.
to see it now.
Yeah,
They had a high line only practice to develop that line and let the drivers build confidence.
I don't know. They talk about a big splash, but like, what would it be? And then someone said they would go to Mexico, but they said no, it would be in the United States. Interesting thing came up. Actually, I want to hear your take on this. So, Pato Award, driver from Mexico, has a pretty decent sized fan base from Mexico. And I've heard multiple people say this, that there's the argument that if you go to Mexico, Pato's fans would fill the place wherever, same place as the Formula One race or somewhere else or whatever. A lot of people don't agree with that statement. That they said that Pato is not a big enough star to fill something like that. Do you agree?
Um, I think he could, but it depends on the series. If he had some success, and let's say he was in Checo's seat, he's winning, competing. Yeah, I think he can pull.
Oh, if he was in Formula One, for sure.
But they have the Formula One marketing and backing.
Yeah.
Even though as much as he's winning and racing hard,
IndyCar is just not.
IndyCar is not going to back it to help. They're not going to build that up.
You see, a side
And
note
it's
here.
the same thing with Argentina.
Yeah,
If IndyCar went down there, Canapino would fill that place.
well, there's the rumor is that they're going to have a unofficial event at the end of the year.
It'd be interesting to see if it happens and how many teams partake. Because the logistics of getting all that down there, they're not as accustomed to. Not like Formula One that's flying halfway around the world. And
oh God. And then did you see the reported constructor prizes that Red Bull is taking home, reportedly somewhere around $140 million?
We got paid for that super massive super license. the downside of being that successful. I feel like it should be the other way around. If you scored that many points, then you clearly shouldn't have to pay for your super license. If you're that far behind,
If you're
you
that
should
crappy.
prove that if you want to stay here, you got to pay to play.
All right, so real quick before we wrap, I'm going to give you top 5 most watched races in the United States this year.
Of like Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR.
Yes.
Oh, top 5 most watched. Daytona.
Number 1.
That one has to be there.
8.173 million.
They all come from the 3 majors, right? Nothing obscure. I don't know what it'd be.
Not in the top 5. No, I mean, if you look down far enough, you'll see Xfinity, you'll see trucks, you'll see some SRX stuff. Some, you go way down, you can see some ARCA stuff mixed in there. NHRA is way down. Actually, the first NHRA is 46th.
Not surprised. That's a pretty niche crowd.
Yeah,
which I still want to go. There's gas and motor oil. I like it.
I can't get into that. It's just
Oh, I like drag racing. So.
I can't get it. That's
I'd say Indy's got to be there.
Indy's 2, which is crazy. Daytona was 8.173 million. IndyCar was 4.716 million.
Then if they're not both there, either Miami or Vegas.
No.
Really?
No. Miami was the most watched Formula One race in the United States this year, but it came in the list at 39th.
Really? Fan base isn't as big here.
It's just, I think, too, also most of the races are on really early Sunday morning.
So then the other 3 have to be NASCAR.
That is correct. Actually, with the exception of the Indy 500,
they're all NASCAR.
36 out of the top 37 on the Cup Series.
So basically every race. So season finale.
No, actually, that didn't get a great Indy. The Cup race did not get a great. Let's see here.
Coca-Cola 600, then that should be there.
Nope. The Phoenix finale was 15th.
Chicago.
Chicago was number 3. Yeah, Chicago was number 3. 4.6. Yeah, the Chicago Cup race almost topped the Indy 500. 4.716 for Indy, 4.620 for the Cup race, the Chicago Cup race.
Look at the marketing behind it, though.
Yeah,
everyone was so much better than even the 500.
And they were both on NBC, which is frustrating part of that.
Jeez, what races would be there if it's not finale and Coke 6?
One probably won't surprise you. Okay, so we got 2 more in the top 5. One probably won't surprise you when I tell you. The other
Bristol
one, nope.
Dirt.
No, Bristol Dirt was 8th.
Terrible race. If you tell me Busch Clash is on there, I'm gonna quit right now.
It was 7th.
Jeez, terrible race.
Yeah, and here's your hint: is the out of the top 11, minus the Indy 500, only one NBC NASCAR race made top 11. Everything else was Fox.
I'm not surprised. Does NBC put everything on USA?
I mean, even the NBC ones that were on didn't get great ratings.
They were always up against something else.
Part of it was
they were pushed late.
Yeah, part of it's the NFL. I mean, that was, you
NFL is in there, and then you're running golf beforehand.
Yeah,
not surprising.
All right, you give up?
I have no idea.
So number 4 with 4.554 million was the Talladega Spring Race.
I guess I can see that. It's Dega.
And then number 5 with 4.315 million was the snowy Fontana race.
Who even watched that race?
I feel like wasn't it delayed or the Xfinity races? Wasn't it?
Yeah, Xfinity was. I feel like I watched part of it and it's like, this is boring.
I thought the Fontana race was pretty good. Yeah, Las Vegas was 6th, Busch Clash 7th, Bristol Dirt 8th, Atlanta Spring 9th, Coca-Cola 600 was 10th. Just right behind him was the Phoenix Spring race, and then 12th was the Daytona August race. Nashville 13th, Coda 14th, and then the Phoenix finale 15th. Some other notables in here. The most watched Xfinity race actually beat out the most watched Formula One race. The finishing in 38th place, the Xfinity race on FS1 had 1.686 million viewers, where the Miami race on ABC had 1.646 million. And that was on during the middle of the day, too.
That's wild.
Let's see. The Xfinity Michigan race was 40th. The Bristol night race was 42nd. Saudi Arabia was 44th. Monaco was actually 45th. All-Star race was 47th. The first truck race comes in at 68th, which was the Bristol Dirt. The truck race at Daytona was 75th. The New Hampshire Cup race that was rain delayed until Monday actually got more viewers than the IndyCar Long Beach race.
Long Beach is a classic.
I know, that was great. Yeah, so if you look at IndyCar, minus the Indy 500, St. Pete 54th, Iowa 1 61, Nashville 62, Gateway 63, IndyCar or Iowa 2 69th, Detroit 70th, Long Beach 77th. The closing, here's a couple other notables before we wrap here. The Rolex 24 last couple of hours that were on NBC, 83rd, 986,000. What else? The first ARCA race was 100th. That was Daytona. Yeah, IndyCar pole qualifying was 102nd. Let's see. SRX at Lucas Oil 129th. Ouch. SRX outdrew the IndyCar August race at Indianapolis. And then the last one on the list. Yikes. You get down the list here. So remember, Le Mans was on Motor Trend.
Yeah.
The Le Mans finale, which I don't know if that's the last 3 or 4 hours, 151,000. That's it.
Oh,
The Petit Le Mans was right above it, 187th with 170,000 for the last like couple hours. But that was on USA. The start of the Le Mans was 176 with 219,000. It's crazy. IMSA is just not. What did I say the first IMSA was? Yeah, the last 2 hours of the IMSA race, 83rd most watched. That is crazy stuff. So this was from Reddit. That's really wild. And then, NASCAR is getting $1.1 billion a year. It just the financials just do not make sense to me. I just NASCAR just not the draw that it once was.
No, they're not selling seats. Lots of just
Not right
empty,
there.
blocked off sections of stands.
People aren't watching on TV. I mean, obviously in this country, from an auto racing standpoint, it's the exception of the Indy 500. They've got the first 37 for the Cup Series, so it's like it is the most watched auto racing in the United States. But I mean, those are not great numbers.
No, I'd be interested to see how it relates back to this whole playoff thing. And my big criticism for the races this year, you had two stages that it was just follow the leader for the most part. There wasn't much excitement until that one to go to the stage finish.
I mean, on top of that too, though, television ratings in general are down.
Mm-hmm.
They've adapted a little bit. That it's like if you watch your DVR within like so many hours, Nielsen counts it as a watch. But it's like there's way too many channels. There's way too many things to watch now. You've got a million different streaming services. There's too much to watch. It's not like 1981, where you have the MASH finale, which you're like 80. What was it? It was like almost 100 million people or something like that watched the MASH finale.
Was it Dallas is one of the most watched series finales too?
105.97 million people watched the finale for MASH in 1983. Like, number one, you're never gonna have a TV show anywhere close to that ever again. I mean, in 1983, there were, cable was just kind of becoming a thing. We're a little bit further along where you have 4 channels. I mean, the Super Bowl still draws huge ratings, but it's like it's not a TV thing. It's like a culture thing. Like it's parties are there. Like people have Super Bowl parties. People aren't having Indy 500 parties. People aren't having Daytona 500 parties. But I don't know. Maybe 2 million people watching a NASCAR race is, we got to lower the bar a little bit. That's 20 years ago. That's terrible. Today, maybe that's not bad. But
Yeah, I think you
still,
got to
1.1
change stuff.
million. That's or million. 1.1 billion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, we're gonna have maybe what all commercials and no racing now.
Remember in Talladega Nights when they have the crash at the end of the race where the cars are just like flipping over and over again, and they cut to the Applebee's commercial, and then they
Yep.
come back and the cars are still
Yeah.
flipping. I mean, have you noticed too? If you watch some baseball games now, they'll run ads in between at bats, like not like not like a live read. A player will be walking to the plate and they'll do a split and they'll do like a 15-second commercial for Jack in the Box or something like that, and then back to the game. Like anywhere to squeeze a commercial.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It really, when you think about it, it blows my mind how television and like the model of television blows my mind, because it's like we pay huge, they pay all this money to make and produce the show. They sell it to a network. The network or then the network has to sign a contract with the cable company. Every so often you see the call DirecTV and tell them, make sure blah, blah, blah channel is still, you want to watch blah, blah, blah channel and negotiate a fair price for you. You get those things. And then it's like, then the television channel has to run commercials or over the air channels. You look at your local affiliates and it's like, it's all commercial based. And how they can make that model work, that they can make these profitable stations, just it doesn't make sense to me. Like I just It's like, what if advertisers decide one day to stop advertising? Would like TV as we know it collapse?
It would drastically cut back. There's no way all these extra shows could be supported at that
Like
point.
we've got this like bell curve of channel of television here, where it's like in the early days of television we had 3 channels, and then we get to like 2000. And, remember when digital cable came out, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
it's like we've got 283 channels, and you look at it, and like 200 of them are just complete trash. And now it's like we've got streaming, but there's still a lot of channels out there, and it's like we're gonna start cutting back. And we've already seen some of that. NBC Sports gone. It's like, oh, we got to fill some time. Oh, we'll put this soccer game on CNBC because stock market's closed on Sunday. Better, it's more than running a infomercial.
It's so funny. Out of all the stations that are out there, I still watch maybe 10 at most. I don't
Yeah,
care about all the other stuff that's out there.
yeah.
Show me
I'm
the games, show me the races, and really show me my cartoons like South Park. I'm
I
gonna
don't
be
I
happy.
don't yeah, I mean, it's like I watch reruns of like The Office and Everybody Loves Raymond, and
Yeah, if
actually,
you ever come see the Office where I work, usually it's like Comedy Central or ESPN that's on. I'm watching South Park and Seinfeld.
pretty
When I'm
much.
listening to Pat McAfee just talk about everything.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm getting old. He's just too much. He's too high energy for me. Oh man. Anyway, that was our 2023 season for the show. Thank you very much for watching. Unless we have some breaking news and have to do an emergency show, we'll be off till January. Um, we'll kick this off. We got some announcements. We're not quite ready to, let's just say it involves a certain charity race that we had postponed. We've got some movement on it now, but we'll have some formal announcements on that soon. Uh, we got a good partner to join with us on this process that really got things moving fast. So, um, very very happy with this. This is it's gonna be moving quickly. So keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
We'll be doing some random streaming here and there. I might jump on and do a. I'm gonna do the truck Class C race at Atlanta Super Speedway. Bye bye.
I need to test my safety rating. It's probably gonna tank again. I need to build that up.
I mean, my safety rating on oval right now is like 3.54. I'm like, oh, happy with that. I can
I'm at 3.4. I'm like, that's too low for me.
take a little bit of a beating. I just got a huge boost. I was at like 2.98, and then I got had a good clean race last week. Ran 2 official races, yeah, and it got me a nice boost into the mid threes. So, yeah, keep an eye out. That we'll be publishing content. We'll be doing social media. Keep an eye. Wednesday Night Dash will be back in January. Behind closed doors, February.
Probably February.
Still
It's gonna be
probably
busy
behind closed doors.
January.
Still probably behind closed doors, but we got probably the charity race in January. We got the Daytona 24 January. Wednesday Night Dash coming back January. January's going to be busy.
Yeah. That's why we're gonna wait a month for the other one.
We will spend December recharging
Yes.
and off and running January. So thank you to Extreme Sim Racing, our good friends. Got the hat. Just got a package the other day from them. One day I will expand triples. It's not today, but they had a sale for Black Friday, and I didn't want to get into this with like the monitor where it was out of stock for 9 months. So I went ahead and just bought it now, and it's going to sit in my closet for a year or two probably before I decide that it's time to go to triples.
Maybe one day I will upgrade from my kitchen table chair and pillow.
Yeah, you got a little catching up to do there, and got my homemade racing chair that I use as a desk chair at work now, which is awesome. And people laugh at me on video calls. Like, you're in like a race car seat. I am.
Yes.
I certainly am.
You gotta put seatbelts on it though. Make it really awesome.
I know I'm gonna just like come in there with the 5-point harness in a meeting one day.
Oh yeah. Just hold on to your seats. I got one for you.
Strap in. Maybe I should get a helmet too and just put the helmet on, strap in.
You already got the fire suit.
I do have the fire suit, and I got the shoes, I got the gloves. We'll pop in, fire suit on, helmet on, seatbelt, turn on the webcam for a meeting, and have it's like, you need some help. Yeah, I do. Well, 2023, we did what, 42 episodes this year?
Yeah, something like that.
42 episodes in 11 months. That's a lot of episodes. We'll be changing the format too a little bit in the show in January. I guess we get this now. We're gonna do 2 shows a week. The first show will be just kind of a 5-minute. We're gonna hold ourselves to this, like a 5 to 7 minute race weekend recap show published on Monday morning. I'm gonna try to keep it at that. I'm gonna set a timer. Once it hits 0, like, okay, hitting stop, bye, and then
auto turn off.
Yeah, and we're gonna, the off the track stuff, some iRacing. We'll do some film studies on this show and keep publishing that on Friday. Giving you what you want. For some reason, you want this based on the numbers of people listening. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Final words, Eric?
No, it's been a fun year. We'll see what we can do to bring you some new and better stuff in 2024. We're looking forward to it. We're excited for things that are already in the works.
2.5 years of this already.
It's been fast.
2.5 years already. I remember sitting at this desk clamping a G920 here and going out onto a track for the first time and punching the throttle coming out of the pits and right into the pit wall. I'm like, what is this? Come a long way since then.
Yes, we both have.
I just need a win. I don't care what. I just need a win.
Behind closed doors 2024. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, cross the fingers. Maybe we'll get the super speedway win. Just ease into that first win. All right. FRRacingOnline.com, at FR Racing on all social media platforms, including Threads. We're on Threads now. So check us out there if you haven't already. And unless we have some breaking news, we'll see you in January.
And until then, happy holidays and happy new year.
Take care.